So first things first, I will squeeze out a white pellet from this brand new packet of PK peppermint flavoured chewing gum. A nice white pellet, and I will pop that in my mouth. Put the gum packet to one side. And in this issue, in this video, I'm going to do a magazine reading and discussing video. This is from September 2011, so it's sort of almost 13 years old. And I got the magazine on eBay. When I saw Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, I thought that'd make a good, a thumbnail maybe. Or maybe it won't, I don't know. I always remember years ago, there was this poster with a big poster in somebody's house that had Ronald and Margaret. Could have been a Gone with the Wind sort of poster. I can't remember now, but anyway, the caption was, Margaret says, she promises to follow Ronald to the end of the world. And Ronald says, oh no, I don't know actually, how was it? It might have just been a text underneath where it says, she says, I'm prepared to follow him to the end of the world, and he's prepared to organise it, I think was what the caption was, but anyway. Hopefully, so when I saw Ronald and Margaret, I thought to myself, this is a good this is a magazine that I just had to have. Okay, so with the big issue, it's not sure what it sells for now. At the time it was selling for $5 a magazine, and it's sold by street vendors, homeless people, I think. There's a vendor profile, people that are just sitting on the corner. I think that's the story. And I think how it works is, out of the $5, the vendor keeps half, keeps $2, street sheet stories, poems and pictures by big issue vendors and friends. I'll read the short one. Coming back, I would like to say thanks to Susan and the Big Issue team for giving me the confidence to sell the Big Issue magazine again. And a special thanks to all my customers in the city and Neutral Bay, which is in Sydney. I did really well with the Amy Winehouse edition, number 387, and I hope other editions will do as well. So, it's a magazine that comes out once a month, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there it is there. $5, $2.50 of the cover price goes to your vendor. Please buy from badged vendors only. Okay. It's a political cartoon. If there's one human scum I hate more than people smugglers, it's human rights campaigners. Melusia. That's a political cartoon about Australia and turning back the vote people. I'm sure they're two politicians, although I just don't recognise them at the moment. Anyway, so let me see that. That's sort of a random article, so it is letters to the editor. Oh, there we go. This is all letters to the editor, I think. Oh no. No, it's not. Maybe this is letters to the... Oh, this is letters to the editor there. There's a page on a camping trip. A page on census. Every 5 years, I think, Australia has a census, and he's talking about the form. was the cup of beer. Because at the cricket they give you plastic cups. Yeah. As Charles Bronson said, yeah. I thought that was kind of amusing. But, the Prime Minister of Australia, or ex-Prime Minister of Australia, one claim to fame. Good skull and beer. It's all about the dementia. This is actually a good story. I haven't read it though, but there's people that live in sort of shacks and caravans and things out in the desert. Desert dwellers. Yes, there we go. So some persons hang out with the residents in this town. A photograph. There was actually an interesting documentary that I watched on maybe, I'm not sure what streaming service it was on now, maybe SBS or maybe ABC, and I think it was called, might have been called Arama. Am I going to get that right? It was a documentary, and it was an interesting story. It was this town of about 10 or 12 people, and one person went missing, presumed murdered, and it's actually quite good because when you kind of scratch the surface and talk to people in town, nobody got along with anybody else. This sort of thing is just a small town. But yeah. So that was that. And then on Stan, they've just made a mini-series, I suppose, maybe 10 episodes, on basically with that idea of the town of Larimer. And it was called Population 11. They've added extra characters in and more drama into it all. But actually that was quite, it's sort of one of those things, the idea of that Larimer, I think it's spelled Larramah, I think. Somebody's watched that documentary and thought you couldn't think of it by yourself. That would be a great base for a mini-series. It's a bit like that one about, was called Prosper, Prosper, which was a drama about an evangelical church in Sydney. It was like the family. It was kind of like a family that, kind of ran and controlled this mega evangelical church. And it was kind of sort of like they took the basic idea from Hillsong and used that as the sort of basis to create a fiction, mind you, a fictional mini-series, just like the Larimer turned into Population 11. Well, Hillsong kind of turned into Prosper. I didn't see them as being I didn't see them as being accurate portrayal, but just using the great ideas. Do that Sheila is. Might be Peggy Frew. She is. I'd have to say, there's Luna Park in Sydney. Amusement Park. I've sort of been flicking over the pages, but I haven't, really, been reading much of it. They've just sort of given me inspiration to ramble, I think. singer for Midnight Oil, great Aussie band, and then he went on to join federal parliaments, to join and become a Labour MP in the federal parliament. During his days as frontman for rock band Midnight Oil, Garrett campaigned for political causes such as banning military bases in Australia and stopping uranium mining. Now, as a Labour Member of Parliament, he continues his campaigns with a slight adjustment to the wording. Stop uranium mining becomes only partake in world's best practice uranium mining. Ban US military bases becomes make sure Australia is a team payer in any US military facility on our shores, as long as it's okay with them. Okay, well, okay, that's it. Oh, there's also harvest. Food rescue, I think, is they find food that's going to be thrown away, and they rescue it. They've got big fridges and vans and things. It's a charity, and they give that food to homeless people or someone in need. Actually, that's also harvest now. Okay, well, that's the big issue.